Hello and good evening to UPSCFever.com's science section. So today the first chapter of science, which is nutrition. Right. So in science we are going to cover NCERT and NIOS books. The first chapter, nutrition, says there are components of food which are necessary for the survival of human body, and these components are called nutrients. Organisms that prepare food for themselves from simple substances are called autotrophs, and those who depend on others, that is, animals that take in ready made food made by the plants, are called heterotrophs. So, plants are the autotrophs, whereas the animals are the heterotrophs. Herbivorous animals are those that eat only plants. Carnivorous animals are those that eat other animals like lions, and omnivores are those animals that eat both plants as well as animals which are humans. The types of nutrients is the next topic. The types of nutrients include carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins, minerals, dietary fibers, water, and roughage. Starting with carbohydrates and fats, both of these are energy giving foods. Carbohydrates, however, give less energy than fats. Fats are of two types, unsaturated fatty acids and saturated fatty acids. So the fats obtained from animals are saturated fatty acids, and these are harmful for your health. That is why you should choose unsaturated fatty acids for cooking and eating purposes. Trans fats, which you are usually familiar with, these are unsaturated fatty acids, but they cause damage to the heart. So that was it about carbohydrates and fats. Next topic is proteins. Proteins are the body building foods needed for muscle development and growth. Proteins are basically polypeptides, that is, they are linear chains of amino acids linked with peptide bonds. Enzymes are proteins, and these are needed in our body as they perform the role of biological catalysts. Receptors are also a type of proteins present in our body, and they perform the function related to communication systems in the body. So, the most abundant protein in our animal world is collagen, whereas the most abundant protein in the whole of the biosphere is ribulose biphosphate carboxylase oxygenase. You don't have to remember that. This acronym is Rubisco. So Rubisco is the most abundant protein in the whole of biosphere. However, if there is lack of proteins in the diet, then there are certain deficiency disorders. Example is kwashiorkor and marasmus. So these are the two deficiency disorders caused due to the lack of protein intake in the diet. Next topic, vitamins and minerals. So there is a tabular chart of vitamins and their deficiency diseases. Vitamin A deficiency causes night blindness or xerophthalmia. Vitamin B1 deficiency causes beriberi. Vitamin C deficiency causes scurvy, which is bleeding gums. Vitamin D deficiency is rickets. Vitamin E deficiency causes loss of fertility or anemia. Vitamin K is needed for blood clotting, and so the deficiency of this leads to excessive bleeding. Calcium present in bones, so calcium deficiency causes bone as well as tooth decay. Iron is important mineral, and the deficiency of iron in the diet causes anemia. And iodine is necessary for thyroxine formation. So deficiency of iodine in the diet causes goiter, which is the enlargement of our thyroid gland. Vitamins A, E, and C. These are very important vitamins. They are known as antioxidants because they absorb free radicals present in the body. Right? So mercury is an important mineral. However, it is very poisonous, and mercury poisoning is known as Minamata disease, which is due to the name it has derived from Japanese origins. Cadmium, another harmful metal, when intake through diet, causes food poisoning called itai itai. The second last topic in this is test to detect iodine, protein, and fats in our food. The test to detect starch is known as the iodine test, and in this, a small quantity of food is taken and dilute iodine solution is added to it. If this solution turns blue-black, then it has starch in it. So to detect starch in food, we use dilute iodine solution. To detect whether the proteins are present in the food, we use the copper sulfate caustic soda test. So in this again, copper sulfate and caustic soda solution is taken and a small quantity of food is added to it. If that solution turns violet in color, then it means that it has proteins. The simplest test is for detection of fats or fatty acids in the food. So we take a small quantity of food, wrap it in paper and crush it. And if we observe an oil patch in the light, then that means that the food has fatty acids or fats. Next topic is dietary fibers and water. Dietary fibers are also known as roughage. They are present in plant products like pulses, vegetables, green leafy vegetables. They don't have any nutrients, however, they help the body get rid of undigested food. So both roughage as well as water is needed for getting rid of undigested food. A brief explanation about the digestion process. Digestion is a process in which complex components of food are broken into simpler substances which the body can absorb. Saliva, which is present in our mouth, breaks down the starch in the food into simple sugars. The stomach secretes mucus and hydrochloric acid along with digestive juices. The mucus is for protecting the lining of the stomach, and the hydrochloric acid has very low pH, and due to its high acidity it kills the bacteria present in the food, and so the digestive juices can break the proteins present in the food into simpler substances. However, this hydrochloric acid is so highly acidic that it can digest the stomach itself, and that is why the mucus lining of the stomach is to protect the stomach from this hydrochloric acid. However, sometimes we feel indigestion and acidity. This is due to the hydrochloric acid, and in the coming chapters we shall see what is the work of an antacid, which is anti-acid, and it neutralizes the acidic effect of this hydrochloric acid. Moving on, the largest gland in human body is the liver. It is important because it secretes bile, and bile is stored in the gallbladder and is important in the digestion of fats present in the food. It also produces cholesterol, which is a lipoprotein. So there are two types of cholesterols produced in the liver. One is low density cholesterol and other is the high density cholesterol. So high density cholesterol is good for the body, whereas the low density cholesterol is harmful because it blocks the arteries and may cause heart attacks. Human beings can't digest cellulose, and last fact is that the temperature of a human body is maintained at 35 to 42 degrees Celsius. Certain miscellaneous facts are also given related to the nutrition. Starfish, which is found in the seas, feeds on animals covered by a calcium carbonate shell, which is like a shellfish. The starfish pops open this shell and pushes its own stomach out of its mouth into this shell and eats the small soft animal inside. The stomach then enters back the starfish's mouth and slowly the food is digested inside the stomach. So this process is how starfish feeds itself. The small intestine present in our body is actually 7.5 meters long, whereas the large intestine is 1.5 meters long. However, the small intestine has a smaller aperture compared to the large intestine. The small intestine is also lined with villi, which are finger-like projections that help in the absorption of food. In herbivores, which eat plants, the small intestine is longer since they have to digest cellulose. However, in carnivores or humans, the small intestine is smaller because meat can be easily digested and cellulose cannot be digested by this carnivorous animal. So that is the importance of the small intestine, and this is the end of the chapter on nutrition.